Okay, let's go ahead and get started for tonight. Welcome, Blue Jay families. Thank you for joining us for our Hop on Board webinar this evening. Um, this webinar is hosted by Student Transitions and Family Engagement, which includes new student orientation, first year experience, second year experience, and family engagement. And so my specific focus is on working with families, but tonight's webinar is open and we invited both incoming students as well as their families. So we are delighted to have you with us tonight. With the webinar series, a couple reminders. We are recording these and we'll post them by next Wednesday. So there will be a recording as well as the slide deck that is presented this evening. In tonight's webinar, we're delighted to have representatives from student enrollment and account management, which we also call SEAM, as well as our financial aid office to share information about a topic I know that's near and dear to your hearts, which is about affording the college experience. So a couple things I want to highlight for you. At the bottom of your Zoom window is a Q&A feature. So that is how you can communicate with us. I would recommend you allow folks to present their content and then feel free at any point to then post questions you have that you would like to hear from our panelists. And if we're unable to get to some of your questions or you have further things you want to inquire about, please feel free to reach out to yours truly at bluejfamilies@jhu.edu, where you can reach me. So at this time, I would like to introduce and invite Rhonda Arnold, who is from the SEAM office and serves as the billing team lead, who would kick us off for our presentation. And let me just, here are our panelists for tonight, Rhonda, Nadia, and Chad. So they will be the folks who will be presenting to you. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Rhonda. Oh, Rhonda, you're still muted, I think.
I wasn't I? Thank you very much. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to JHU. My name is Rhonda Arnold, and I am the SEAM Student Accounts Billing Team Lead. SEAM actually centralizes student services at Johns Hopkins University. We provide support in three key areas: student accounts, registration, and financial aid. Now, I'm going to share a bit of information with you regarding your student account to assist with managing your financial obligations so that you can focus on your studies. So this is how you want to understanding your student's balance. Students or authorized users can view a student's balance in SIS self-service. SIS is the acronym for Student Information System. To access, log onto SIS. In the column on the left of the screen, Billing, you want to click on Billing and then on Summary. Due to FERPA regulations, the institution cannot discuss details of a student's billing account with anyone besides the student, who is the account holder. If a student would like to authorize an individual to access their account or make payments, they can add an authorized user via SIS self-service. The authorized user's view is the same as the student's view in SIS. Once the authorized user is logged in, on the column on the left of the screen, they click on Billing, then Summary. Here, an authorized user can see the information that they have access to, as well as the actions that can be taken on an account, like setting up direct deposit or enrolling into a monthly payment plan. Student account transactions can also be viewed on that screen. One of the most frequently asked billing questions is, when is tuition due? So for fall 2026 semester, tuition and other related charges became viewable for students in SIS self-service on July the 6th. and fall tuition is due on September the 7th. For spring 2027, we anticipate that tuition and other charges will be available for viewing in SIS on or around December 1st, with spring 27 tuition due on or around February the 1st. Johns Hopkins University offers various payment methods. Payments can be made online in SIS self-service using an e-check or a credit card. Paper checks can be mailed in. Wire payments can be made using Flywire or Convera. Payments can be made by a third-party payer, and Chad from our third-party team will provide more details on that option in a few moments. We also accept payment plans from 529 plans and prepaid tuition accounts. We offer a monthly payment option through Nelnet, and available options are listed when you log into self-service. JHU offers convenient payment plans through Nelnet to allow you to pay your education expenses over smaller monthly installments. Payment plans are offered in 3, 4, or 5 monthly payments per semester. There is a $55 per semester enrollment fee to use this service. Payments will be drafted on the 15th of each month. And to enroll into a payment plan, you would log into SIS self-service under billing summary and enroll in Nelnet payment plan. And that is a no interest, it's an interest fee free service. For fall, payment plans begin in August and are made through December. So if you enroll in August, you'll have 5 payments that will run from August through December. If you enroll in September, your first payment will be due in September, and then your payments would run from September through December. And if you enroll in October, then your payments would run from October through December. And subsequently for spring, they begin in January and end in May. Please remember that we are here to help. We encourage you to contact us if you have questions or concerns about billing, payments, or refunds. Visit us at seam.jhu.edu/billing/ for more information. And now I would like to introduce Chad Glorioso, the Associate Director for Third Party Billing.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the webinar. Let's go right into it. I am the Associate Director for the third-party payer department. And with third-party payers are when organizations, such as an employer, directly pay 100% or a portion of a student's tuition and fees within 45 days of receipt of the invoice from Johns Hopkins University. Now, this next part right here, this will probably be the most important thing you guys will need to remember if you plan on utilizing a third-party payer prior to the start of any semester. Students must select a third-party payer and submit the documentation for each semester or term within SIS self-service. For the upcoming fall semester, the due date is going to be August 14th for the fall, and for the spring semester, the due date is January 22nd. And then, John, if you can go to the next slide. Oh, cool. Thank you. Students can monitor the status of their third-party process in SIS self-service. Once each of the processes are completed, the student will be able to see the status in SIS self-service. A few of those statuses that you will see displayed are TPP certified. That basically just lets the student know that the contract has been reviewed by the TPP team and has been accepted. In the event your contract is denied, basically what it's just stating is it's been reviewed by the team and was not accepted. It may not have been accepted due to the fact that a payment voucher or a letter of credit was not signed and dated. Or you may have submitted an incorrect document which does not display the necessary requirements needed. And that unfortunately will put your contract in a denial status, but you will be able to resubmit the information based off of the instructions we provide you in the event that it is denied. Another status is invoice submitted, where the TPP department has submitted the invoice to the third party. Or invoice rejected means that the third party has rejected payment of the submitted contract. And our department will basically be in contact with you for follow-up and let you know what future actions will need to be done in order to resolve the particular issue that you may be experiencing. And finally, the last status is payment received, where the TPP department has received payment from your third party. Please also keep in mind that payments that are not received from the third party before, I want to say, a few months after the semester has ended, the balance will then become the responsibility of the student. Please note that we, the TPP department, are available, and please just use us as a resource in the event that you're having issues with submitting documentation, or whether you have general questions. We are more than happy to assist you in this process dealing with third-party payers. Okay, and then finally, these are some of the items that would not be considered a third-party payer within Johns Hopkins University. Payments from a family member or friends, or payment plans, or employer reimbursement. Those would not be considered a third party, and you would have to come up with another method of payment if you would not be utilizing the third-party payer. Also, please keep in mind that JHU does not accept contracts with third-party payers that require a grade or a transcript review before payment or other conditions. And also, please note that if you are a Johns Hopkins University employee, to visit the JHU Benefits and Work-Life Tuition Assistance page for more information. And now I will turn this on over to Ms. Nadia for her portion in financial aid.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nadia McDaniel, and I'm a financial aid advisor with our Office of Student Financial Support. In addition to reviewing financial aid applications, my job is to help you navigate the financial aid process and make you understand exactly what your Hopkins education will cost and what your options are for covering those costs. So some frequently asked questions that we receive from new admits and continuing undergraduate students can be seen here. We're going to touch on these questions as they can vary from why my financial aid award isn't posted to my bill, or why is my fall bill more than I anticipated, and what if I need additional financial aid to help with out-of-pocket costs. To all of these questions, answers can vary from student to student. So let's dive into a couple of these frequently asked questions and what general responses may look like. So the first question is, why does my enrollment deposit show up on my billing statement for the fall semester? Well, at the time in which you accept your offer of admission to Hopkins, you may have already paid the deposit or down payment to the admissions office to confirm that you would be attending. So this is counted as your first payment towards your Hopkins bill and shows up as a credit towards your charges. This will not be repeated in future semesters. It's only a one-time fee. Speaking of one-time fee, what is the $500 matriculation fee? So every new student at JHU is charged a one-time fee as they matriculate or enter as a Hopkins student. This will also not be repeated in future semesters. Another example of a frequently asked question can be one pertaining to outside scholarships. So why are my outside scholarships not showing up on my bill? Outside scholarship credits will only appear on your billing statement as soon as the funds have been actually received by Hopkins. So in the event that your scholarship check has not yet been posted to SIS self-service, you can deduct the amount of expected outside scholarship from your total amount posted in SIS due to determine how much you would actually need to pay. You can also check with your outside scholarship agency, as some require you to submit a copy of your billing statement or an enrollment verification via course schedule to confirm your enrollment at Hopkins before they send us the scholarship check. So as it pertains to outside scholarships not populating on your bill, here are some other responses that may follow. So scholarship checks should be made payable to JHU and should be mailed to the following address listed below. Please definitely make sure you take some time to notate that if you'd like to have them directly mailed, or you can always drop them off to the checks off to the SEAM office. So outside scholarship checks may require your signature or endorsement before we can formally credit them to your account. So our team will notify you if you need to sign any checks. And as a reminder, outside scholarships may adjust your financial aid eligibility. To report outside scholarships, please log into your SIS self-service account, and click the Applications tab for the Outside Award Notice form. So next we can discuss frequently asked questions in regards to loans. So why are my loans not showing on my bill? Hopkins Financial Aid Awards do not initially include loans, but students and parents may borrow low-interest loans as a part of their family strategy to cover college costs. In order to request a federal direct student loan, you may have to log into your SIS self-service account and click the Online Forms tab for the Loan Action Form. So something to note, first-time student borrowers will also need to complete online loan forms with the federal government at studentaid.gov or the FAFSA website. And this will be the loan entrance counseling as well as the master promissory note. Loans will not post as anticipated credits on your bill until all needed paperwork has been submitted and processed. So federal Parent Plus loans can be requested via studentaid.gov and will require a credit check and a master promissory note. And just for your information, loans are not automatically rolled over from year to year. Students and parents must request loans each year on an annual basis that they wish to borrow. So a quite common question we get is in regards to the bill amount exceeding what a family may have been anticipated. So why is my fall bill more than I expected? So you're going to need to review your billing statement carefully for expected charges and credits. If any of your financial aid is missing from the bill, please contact us so that we can help. If there's an unexpected charge, please contact SEAM student accounts. For example, if there's a charge for the undergraduate health insurance, this may result in an anticipated extra bill that goes towards or credit that goes towards your bill that you may not have been expecting. So the biggest one is going to actually be the health insurance. So a reminder that Hopkins requires that all students have comprehensive health insurance. Students are automatically enrolled into the JHU insurance each academic year, but there is an option to waive that insurance. So in order to waive the school-sponsored health insurance plan, you will need to log into your SIS self-service account and click the link for the waiver form. Once your waiver has been processed, the charge will be removed from your SIS bill. The waiver must be completed on an annual basis. So for your information, Students Financial Support does provide limited grant funding for high-need students who are ineligible to waive the university health plan. So what you will need to do first is waive the health insurance, and then the idea is to first be denied, and then that is where our office steps in to determine if a grant may be provided. So in other scenarios, students and families may have circumstances that were not reflected in their financial aid award. This poses this inquiry. What if my family's circumstances have changed, like a job loss or any type of decrease in income, and I need to request additional financial aid? So if financial circumstances are affecting your ability to attend Johns Hopkins, we would like to have the opportunity to reconsider your eligibility for financial aid. We recognize that family situations are dynamic. Unexpected events such as loss of income, death, major illness, and disabilities can adversely affect a family's inability or ability to meet educational costs. We are committed to meeting additional need and supporting families to the extent that our resources allow. So in this case, you will need to schedule an appointment with your financial aid advisor to discuss your circumstances, and then they will direct you to submit a request for an aid reconsideration with relevant documents to your situation. Another common inquiry is how often financial aid must be applied for and if it needs to be reapplied for. So do students have to reapply for financial aid every year, and will the eligibility change? So the answer is yes to both. And also maybe no. So it really depends. That's the biggest answer in financial aid. So students must reapply for need-based financial aid each year. That is a definitive yes. Our office will review your family's most recent financial circumstances to determine your eligibility. Most families receive similar financial aid packages each year, but changes to financial circumstances and the number of family members in your household or college do impact aid eligibility. So this is where that it depends comes into play. So the requested deadline for the 2027 year is January 15th of 2026, which is already passed, but that is for our current and recently admitted students. Typically, we'll request the FAFSA CSS profiles, and for this year, it's going to typically be for every academic year, 2 prior tax years before. So this year it was 2024 taxes via IDOC. So Hopkins has many generous opportunities which we provide to students to assist in supplementing their education. One of these offers the tech grant. So another frequently asked question, does Hopkins cover a computer purchase? The quick answer, yes. Students who receive need-based financial aid are eligible for a computer tech grant to assist in the purchase of a computer purchase. So our tech policy allows for a one-time purchase of a computer and relevant accessories like a mouse or a keyboard for up to $2,000. Students will need to complete a budget adjustment request for the computer purchase via SIS and attach a screenshot of their receipt or shopping cart quote. And the tech grant will be directly refunded to the student. Once it is posted to the SIS account, it will not be credited towards any existing bill. And lastly, a common inquiry received is that about work study and how to acquire those funds. So how do I utilize federal work study? So most students are eligible for up to $2,700 in federal work study. Work study gives students the opportunity to work part-time on or off campus and to cover indirect college expenses. Your work employer pays you directly. So federal work study means that the government covers a portion of your employer's wages to you. To utilize federal work study, you will need to provide your employer with the authorization form, which is found in SIS under financial aid, and the FWS authorization form. Some students are awarded Hopkins work study instead of FWS. HWS is the work study portion of your award package and acts as a placeholder for potential work earnings. So this award is offered to students who may not meet the eligibility requirements for federal work study as it's determined through the FAFSA. The University Experiential Learning Office offers job postings and tips to assist you with finding a position through their SMILE database. So while those were just a few frequently asked questions, our office realizes there might be more inquiries that require more acute care and consideration. In those cases, we have many avenues to be reached. You can feel free to call through the general line at the phone number listed below. You can join Zoom walk-ins where one of the financial aid advisors, such as myself, will be hosting for the durations to answer very general questions and give you points of contact. You can schedule an appointment with your assigned financial aid advisor, or you can write to us by submitting a SEAM online form in which the case will be routed directly to your assigned financial aid advisor. And for those with more in-depth scenarios that you may wish to discuss, you may want to schedule an appointment with your assigned financial aid advisor. Newly admitted students are assigned an advisor based on their last name, and appointment scheduling can be found on our website. So with that, I'm going to pass it back over to our SEAM team to finalize.
Great. Thank you so much, Nadia. So Chad or Rhonda, could you take us through the final section on contacting your office, and then we'll get to question and answers from you participants.
Right. I will take a stab at this. So how to contact SEAM. You can either fill out an online form. You can do a virtual visit by scheduling one. You can go in person to one of the 3 in-person offices, which are located at the Homewood campus, the East Baltimore campus, and the Washington, D.C. campus. Or you can call by phone by calling SEAM to speak with someone directly. So with the first option, this is what the SEAM online form will look like. From the support landing page, you can either search specific keywords or questions or browse the topics. And this is just an example of what the landing page will look like. Step 2, if you are not able to find the answer to your question, you can log in with your JHAD login to submit a case. Guest users without a JHED will need to create an account. And that is basically an example of what that page will look like. And step 3, filling out a SEAM online form. Once you click sign in to request support, you'll be directed to the online form to complete the required fields and then click submit. And then step 4, you can log into the SEAM online form to check the status of your case at any time. You'll see on the slide here has a question: when will I receive my aid? And it'll show the date and timestamp of when that case was created. And then on the bottom right-hand side of my cases, you'll see the timestamp of when that particular case was closed or resolved. And then here is this is what the virtual visit will look like. It just provides you with options to contact SEAM. It has the phone number listed there on the bottom left-hand side of the screenshot there. You also have quick buttons where you can either get started to request assistance online, or another quick button where you can actually also just schedule a virtual visit. And the phone number listed here is to our Tier 1 support. They are available Monday through Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then these are the addresses and the locations of each physical campus, where we have a Homewood campus in Baltimore. We have the DC campus, obviously in DC, and then we have the East Baltimore campus, and those are the mailing addresses.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Chad. So,
Thank you, John.
Yep. Thank you, panelists, for your presentation. At this time, we're going to open it up to your questions that you have been submitting in the Q&A chat. I am going to throw out our first question. Panelists, one of the things I'm seeing is there have been a few folks who have asked about seeing maybe parts of their billing, but not all of it, like seeing a housing or meal plan charge, but not seeing tuition. Can you talk a little bit about how those get posted and what they can expect?
Well, if the students are enrolled in courses, then they should see tuition charges at this point for fall. I would suggest that if they are enrolled and they do not see charges, that they submit a case through SEAM, and we can take a look at their enrollment and their account.
Okay. But to actually see it for tuition, you would have to actually register for courses. Is that correct, Rhonda?
Correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And then just with housing and meal plan charges, do those typically go on at a certain point in the summer?
The summer, or is this for fall, right?
Oh, sorry, for fall, yes.
Okay,
When
just
would
want to make
they,
sure. Just
when
want to
can
make
they
sure.
expect to see those?
Okay,
Yes.
they housing and meal plan charges are currently being added. So if they have not already been posted to the account, they should be posted within the next week or so.
Okay. All right, very good. So, Nadia, there's a question about uh, third-party payments, reducing the financial aid award.
Hey there, sure, that's a great question, and that falls within our scholarship policy. So, in terms of third-party payers, in the event that you do have one, it will be treated as an outside scholarship. And with our outside scholarship policy, it goes as it will first deduct your student contribution if you have one. So, typically with freshmen, that's going to be $1,800. And with upperclassmen, sophomores and upperclassmen, that's going to be $2,600. So, in the amount that your third party payer or outside scholarship surpasses that, then it will chip into your federal work study or Hopkins work study. So, in the event that it surpasses that amount that's allocated towards the work study, which is $2,700, then it will start swapping your JHU grant dollar for dollar. So, it doesn't necessarily decrease your amount of the award until you surpass the student contribution and the work study amount, and then it will decrease your financial aid, but it's really more swapping those dollars out.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. There's a question also, Nadia, about financial aid. How do we accept or claim financial aid? I didn't see anything in the student information system.
Sure. So, as far as accepting and claiming it, that is going to be something through SIS. Your grants, any grants and scholarships that have been reported and checks have been sent out will automatically be accepted. So you don't have to worry about that there. The only thing you may need to accept is just the federal work study so that it can get the ball rolling with the employment authorization form. But everything should be automatically accepted in SIS.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. There's another question, Nadia, I'm going to come back to you again. There's a student asking about for an incoming fly student, if medical insurance is covered by Hopkins or if it's paid by the student slash family.
Great question. So for that, you're going to need to first go through your SIS account to complete the health insurance waiver request. So it's not automatically granted. Every student who wishes to waive the insurance cost will need to first submit the health insurance waiver request, even if they don't necessarily wish to waive the insurance itself. So for fly students, typically, since they are a high need base, when the health insurance request, if it gets denied, then our office steps in and will provide a grant to cover the cost of the Hopkins health insurance. But waivers must be submitted on an annual basis, and there is a hard deadline for those health insurance waivers, which is September 15th.
Okay, great. Thank you. So there's a question. Let's see. So I think there's a couple of questions. I know depending on college, students are enrolling in courses at different times. So folks are asking about kind of their enrollment, since we know that triggers some of the things like the tuition bill, et cetera. So anybody able to talk to that at all about when they should expect that? I think it kind of depends on their college, Whiting versus Krieger.
So you're asking in regards to the billing for the tuition?
Yes, I think folks are wondering, a couple of folks are wondering about, if it takes enrolling in courses to trigger that for the bill, kind of
Yes.
when they're doing that.
So if
I
they're
think that
enrolled,
depends on.
they should already have a bill. If they don't, then I would suggest that they submit a same case so that we can take a look at their specific enrollment and account to see why
Okay.
bill. I do know that there are some, maybe there may be some programs that don't enroll. I'm sorry, their students aren't enrolled until later on um, in the month. So they may just want to check with their department just to see when they enroll their students. But if enrollment is open and available to them and they have enrolled, they should definitely have a bill.
Okay. And Nadia, I think you talked a little bit about this question, but there's a question about whether financial aid is automatically posted once tuition is on the student's bill. Can you just talk about that dynamic?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing a lot of people asking that question. So don't fret if you see a very hyperinflated bill right now. That is not what's due. So, in the event that all of your financial aid has been finalized, documents are all reviewed, and you've received your award letter, financial aid is set to disperse to the student SIS accounts on August 15th. So, no need to worry about finalizing the bill until then. Okay.
Great. And I think you talked a little bit about waiving health insurance, and we covered some of that with health and well-being a few weeks back. Is there a way, do we know, for them to tell if they waived their health insurance? Is it that it would not be posted on their bill?
So it will be posted on the bill in once our office steps in. So that will be our realm in terms of the health insurance. I am seeing a lot of questions that people are getting a lot of error messages when it comes to the health insurance waiver. I'm going to direct you over to the student benefits department to see if they can assist you with the steps within that, just because our realm, we only step in the event that the waiver is submitted.
Great. Thank you, Nadia. There's a question about if there are fees associated with the Flywire payments. Could someone in SEAM answer that?
Chad, do you know if there's a fee with Flywire?
My understanding, I don't think that it's a fee thing. However,
Oops, Chad, I'm not hearing you very clearly for some reason.
I was afraid this would happen. Hold on real quick.
Oh, good. Hear you much better now.
Oh, you can hear me now? Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yes.
I had a toggle with the audio button.
All good.
To my understanding, I believe there is a fee. However, that is on the TPP side. In the event that a student is trying to submit a payment, whether it's international, whether it's domestic, I am not 100% sure, but I can definitely try and get confirmation for that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chad. So a question that I will answer is a couple folks asking about the health insurance waiver. And so that was covered in the health and well-being webinar a couple weeks back. One of the things I'll refer you back to is there are some slides in the slide deck that address that. So there is a process by which the student can go in and fill out that waiver. One thing that I do understand is that you do need to be registered for classes before I believe you're able to do that. So go take a look, and those are posted on the Hop on Board webinar website, the slide deck. If you run into any other issues, I'm happy to get you with the student health insurance team. Feel free to reach out to me at the Blue Jay Families email address. All right, I'm looking at questions here. Let's see. Yeah, again, I would say for anything on the health insurance, if you have question, definitely go to the student health and well-being insurance team. There is an email. We'll try to post that before we end tonight, but if you feel stuck, feel free to reach out to me on the Blue Jay Families email address, and happy to get that to you and connect you with them. All right, just looking through questions. There's a question about the computer allowance and whether that is deducted directly from the student's bill.
There. So that is a great question. So what will happen is once approved through a budget adjustment request, the amount will go ahead and post to the account, the student SIS account, as a credit, and it will be automatically refunded to the student's refund preference that they've elected. So it will not decrease the student's JHU grant or any financial aid. It will be added to the award.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. I know a couple folks are posting about kind of when students will be registering, which is closer to the end of July. I don't have a firm understanding of all those dates. But what I will tell you is that you will have plenty of time, like in terms of registration being the trigger for being able to do some of the things like waive health insurance. You will still have plenty of time to do that. You will be well within the window. So if you're feeling that you might be behind, please don't. Just know that some of those things will happen once you actually register. Okay, so I'm looking at questions here. There's a question for Seam just about, my screen just moved, hold on, about utilizing a credit card for as one of the payment options. And there was a question on looking in the SIS account. They were not seeing that a credit card was actually an option for payment. Could you clarify that that's able to be done?
I can probably speak on a portion of that. So with my team, we do accept credit card payments. However, it's only through vendors that we work with who will be paying for the tuition on the student's behalf. As far as students not utilizing a third-party payment, I really can't speak on credit card payments coming directly from the student to pay towards the cost of tuition and fees.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Chad. Let's see. Okay.
Hi, John. There's a question that
Yes.
someone asked that I do want to answer live, and it's in regards to the Hawkins tuition promise. So, in the event that a student is attending tuition free but still must pay for housing and meals, can outside scholarships be used to pay for housing and food, or will they displace existing grants? So, this kind of goes in with our Hawkins tuition promise, where Tier 2 ensures that all families that make under 100K within the corroborating tax year for financial aid will receive a 0 PC, meaning they'll have no parental contribution. And then families that make under 200K will receive at least free tuition, pending different assets and things of that nature. So if you're in that tier 2 where your tuition is covered and you receive outside scholarships, the scholarship policy will still apply. It will first be utilized to displace your student contribution, and then after that it will be utilized to swap out dollars for the work study. Everything after that will chip in dollar for dollar from JHU grant, so it will still be swapping dollars. In the event that you may need more assistance that surpasses that of tier 2, you can always submit a reconsideration for financial aid and speak with your financial aid advisor to see if you have a justifying circumstance to further decrease that contribution and make room for more financial aid.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Nadia. There's a question on, so if folks are trying to use the Nelnet, what are the credentials? Do you have to set up an account, or are you using your Hopkins JED for that?
You do have to set up an account. I'm not certain if it requires an email different than your Hopkins email, but Nelnet does allow multiple payers, but each payer would have to set up their own account within Nelnet. So if mom wanted to pay a portion and dad wanted to pay a portion separately, then they could, both set up separate accounts on Nelnet if they want to do that, but they each have to set up an account.
Okay, very good. And I think you all talked about the matriculation fee for students. Does that show up as an individual itemized charge?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So I'm looking through questions here. All right, hold on a second. Okay, hold on. I'm just panelists, if there's anything you really want to answer, we have about 8 more minutes for our webinar. Feel free to jump in, but I'm looking through. So I think there are a few kind of specific questions about third-party payments or scholarships or those kinds of things. Is it best that a student on some of those questions reaches out to their assigned advisor?
Hi there. So I'm actually working on individually replying to some of those questions in regards
Oh, okay.
to our scholarship policy. But yes, the biggest thing is to, if you're waiting for them to credit to your account, just know that all financial aid awards, should the payment be received from a third party payer or outside scholarships, should be posting to your account starting August 15th. Those awards are set to disperse.
All right. Here's a question actually I can answer. There's a question about if a student needs to stay during break periods and they're living in on-campus housing, do they need to pay an additional fee? We're such we have a broad students from all over the globe in the US, and so housing is open during break periods. And once you move in on campus, the on-campus living staff will have you register. So they'll ask for you to register if you plan to be there during a break period, but the halls remain open to students during that time.
So in terms of financial aid covering some of those extraneous fees, our office only covers fall and spring semesters for off-campus housing. That's what's accounted for in the cost of attendance. If you do have a special circumstance that you want our office to look at and consider, you're more than welcome to submit a reconsideration of financial aid or a budget request to see if we can take into account any of those breaks, especially the summer break when funds are very limited, to see if we can contribute towards that.
Okay, very good. There's a question, let's see. As we wrap up, I'll come back to student health benefits because I see some more questions coming in about that. Right. The matriculation fee, is that covered? Can that be covered by financial aid?
So the matriculation fee cannot be covered by financial aid. If you had any questions in regards to that or the enrollment deposit with a possible waiver, you could always speak to your admissions counselor.
Gotcha. And the deposit charge that you talked about, that's really about when a student confirms their attendance at the institution. You talked about that going towards their bill. The matriculation fee is really for can you just explain matriculation fee briefly?
Yeah, so the matriculation fee is basically a fee to matriculate you or enter you into our system. It's a one-time fee, and it typically is authorized through the admissions office. So we don't really have much say within that portion. But in the event that you may need it waived, you can always speak to your admissions counselor.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And when financial aid, when the package is released to students, can you just remind us where we see that?
Yes, so in your package, once the award letter is sent, the student will receive an email prompting them to go into their SIS account, and they should be able to go into SIS under My Financial Aid and be able to see the award letter there.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Panelists, are there any other burning questions that you want to answer from? I'm going to address health insurance broadly, but welcome any other areas you want to touch on.
Taking a quick look.
So while you all are thinking, two things I want to address quickly. A few folks are asking just about registration. When am I registering? Kind of confirming that. Those dates are released through your college, either Krieger or Whiting, and so you should have received communications about who your advisor is, meeting with that advisor, and then when your actual enrollment will take place. And so I would encourage students to look at what you're getting from your particular college. Again, if you're not sure or feel like you maybe have missed something, feel free to reach out to me on the Blue Jay Families email. The second thing I want to address broadly is for health insurance. Again, my understanding is that once you enroll is when you can actually waive your health insurance benefit. So for people who are saying they're getting errors, I believe that is the reason why. So you will still have plenty of time to do that because you have until early September to actually waive the health insurance enrollment. So if you're on a family plan or you have another comparable plan, you will be able to submit that information for review to Health and Wellbeing. Okay, with that, panelists, any last thoughts before we close out here for the evening?
The only thing that I'll add is that, again, for any questions or concerns, the best way to contact us is through SEAM, submitting a case, or to give us a call. The call will go in through the call center and it will get over to us.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Rhonda. Yeah, families we know and students we know it's a lot to take in, and you have a lot of great questions and specific circumstances. So again, please know we are here for you. Feel free to reach out to us. And as you saw, there's a whole myriad of ways that you can reach folks at the institution. So don't hesitate. So with that, I would like to ask you to join me in thanking our panelists from Financial Aid and SEAM. Thank you very much. That was a lot of great information, and we know that paying for higher education is of great importance to you, and that we care about your ability to navigate that. By next Wednesday, We will have the recording of this webinar as well as the slide deck available to you. So you will be able to go back and review the slides and so forth. We have 2 more Hop on Board webinars coming up. We have on July 22nd, next week, we have a webinar focused on the first generation and limited income network. This is focused on kind of an overview of that program and students who will be a part of that network. And then also on August 5th, one of my favorite ones is we do a webinar on what to expect on move-in day, because we know there's a lot you're planning for, you're excited, you're nervous, but we want to put your nerves at ease and just kind of overview what the day is going to look like and what you should plan for. So we will do that on August 5th. And just the final note that you've heard me probably say many times, for families, please remember that as your student moves in, many of which are doing so on Sunday, August 23rd, 6:30 that evening, students, you will start your orientation process and your program, and you will be very busy throughout that next week. So families, although we welcome you in Baltimore, you will not have time to connect with your student during their orientation period. And I am will be sending out by the end of this week, families, a message that helps you if you haven't made all of your arrangements and you plan to come to Baltimore with your student. We have some recommendations about how to get around, lodging, all those kinds of things. So look for that later this week. So with that, thank you all so much for joining us. We're just after 8 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Good night, everyone.